Alright, fight fans, welcome back to Duality 9X. I'm Shiraz, and today I'm going to be breaking down some interesting news about Islam Makhachev, which involves a super fight with Ilia Topuria. Now, I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time because there's a lot of buzz kind of circulating on social media about Islam and Ilia, and so I kind of want to get into the nitty gritty, guys. So listen, I mean, everyone knows that Islam Makhachev is pound for pound one of the kings in the UFC, and it's no secret. It's no secret that Islam is actually eyeing an explosion showdown with the likes of Ilia Topuria. Now, it looks like this is look, I'm not part of the exec team when it comes to the UFC, but guys, like this, there's a lot of people calling for this, so it's going to be really exciting to kind of see what happens. I mean, yeah, can you imagine a two champion super fight, right? But now it's not as simple as just booking the fight and slapping down the rights for a pay-per-view and we all just kind of tune in and watch a good old slobber knocker. No, it's not that simple. Now, the big question comes down to is weight, right? So listen, guys, stick around till the end because this could definitely shake up the MMA, the UFC as we know it, right? And this is more of a Dana White problem, but this is not even a problem. I mean, this actually could be a blessing in disguise. This could be something that Dana and his team have been thinking about for quite some time, and they're just waiting for the right opportunity and the right fighters. Perhaps Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria are those two fighters. So let's set the stage, guys. I mean, look, Islam just vacated his lightweight title to chase that welterweight title against Jack Della Maddalena. Now, meanwhile, Ilia Topuria, on the other hand, just beat Charles Oliveira in a first-round KO to claim the lightweight crown. And now he sits atop the pound-for-pound rankings. And so this is getting really interesting, guys, because these guys, I mean, this could be a good fight. This could be actually not just a good fight. This could be one of the greatest fights that we see. So guys, if you guys like that, I just asked if you could, smash the like and subscribe, share your comments below. If this is your first time, give us some love and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you guys don't miss a beat, right? We're going to constantly give you guys the latest and the greatest when it comes to stories related to mixed martial arts, the UFC, WWE, and of course boxing, right? So if you guys like all that stuff and if you guys are fight fans, then fight, this is the place, guys. Please give us that love. All right, so I'm excited just kind of talking about this because as I'm talking to you guys, I'm also kind of thinking about what could potentially happen between these two guys, right? And both of these guys, both Islam and Ilia, are at the top of their game. All right, and the idea of them facing off against each other, it's not just global hype, guys. I mean, there's a lot of people actually, singing the same song, and people like Dana are listening attentively with very meticulous attention. They're watching this unfold before their eyes, and they're thinking to themselves, this could actually happen, and this could be one of the greatest fights produced by the UFC. Can you imagine the likes of Islam versus Ilia? Absolutely incredible. I mean, we just came off one of the greatest UFC cards in a long time, UFC 319. We watched history in the making. We watched DDP, Duplessis versus none other than Khamzat and Chimaev. And I mean, here's a guy who was undefeated coming into this fight, and then you got a guy like Duplessis who is just honestly like an animal. He was the reigning champ coming into this fight. He successfully defended his title 2 times, once against Israel Adesanya and the other against Sean Strickland. And he beat Sean Strickland for the belt. So this guy is like pound for pound probably one of the best ever. And Khamzat just took DDP out, and it was a completely one-sided show, guys, for all 5 rounds. It was absolutely crazy. Now, how do you top that? How do you top that? Well, you get a fight like this. You get Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria going toe-to-toe right there in the middle of the octagon. That's how you top it. And that's how you make history. And that's what I call legacy. Now, during a Q&A, Islam said there's some intrigue with fighting Topuria. Maybe we can make some kind of a super fight. Or as I said, we'll see about the weight. Translation, he's got game. Now, when it comes to the logistics, especially cutting weight, that could be somewhat of a roadblock. Some kind of something that might potentially impede in the way of Islam being able to achieve that, right? Now, here's where it gets a little spicy. You're looking at Tupuria's ascension, right? I mean, he dismantled legends. I mean, I'm talking about legends like Alexander Volkanovski and Holloway before knocking out Oliveira. Now, that's no fluke, guys. That's firepower and skill. Makhachev's legacy, he defended his belt like big time, cleanly. And now he's hunting a champ status. Big moves equals big risks. So look, guys, I just set the tone. You got a guy like, Topuria, who dismantled Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira. All right? Sounds like DDP. The way he took out Adesanya, the way he took out Strickland, and then you got Makhachev, who's he's not just looking at B class. He's not looking at fighting just anybody. He's looking at wanting to shake things up in the UFC. He's going you know what? It's pretty much guns a-blazing at this point for him. He's like, go big or go home. Yeah, if this guy was a betting man, if he was these are big call outs and big risks. I mean, he could win it all or he could lose it all. And he knows that. He knows what's on the line, but he's willing to go for it. And look, I'm telling you about Topuria. He's not some shy weight either. I mean, this is a guy who's like, bring it on, man. I mean, you want to go? You want to dance? Well, let's dance. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you have. It's going to be a show. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what sells tickets. That's what sells the hype. And now, after inking this newly beautiful deal between Paramount, Zuffa, the UFC, that also involves the Saudi Public Trust Fund, and you got the likes of Turkey Al Sheikh, and you got some really big players involved. I mean, these are the kind of fights that are going to put you on the map. And you know what? I'm a boxing fan, guys, but I mean, if you're part of the any of these regulatory big bodies, you're a little worried right now. You're like a little worried because I mean, the UFC can completely own the markets to the point where they actually start to create their own boxing division. You never know, guys. And I'm telling you, it's fights like this that leave an impact on people. Not just some like random fights that people are like, oh, okay, I watched that. Yeah, cool. What's next? People are still buzzing about UFC 319. People are still buzzing about UFC Shanghai Fight Night. And look at all the drama that's going on. I mean, you got Strickland, who just got fined by the Nevada Athletic State Commission. They're banning him from the ring for like 6.5 months, unless he takes some anger management courses, and then that can shorten that time. I mean, you've got all these fighters in between who are willing to like step it up. I mean, I don't think I've seen a time like this before where fighters are like, I don't want to just fight the top guy. I want to fight the guy. This is it. This is what I've been like longing for the longest time. This is what I want to see, and I think this is what the fans want to see. And if it's not this fight, then I'm curious to see what else Dana White's got cooking, because believe me, Dana White's always got something cooking, right? So both Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira agreed that Arman Tsarukyan should be fighting Ilia Topuria next for the lightweight title. So there's a little bit of ambiguity there for me, right? Because I mean, I want to see Islam versus Ilia, right? But I mean, you got guys like Charles and you got Islam both saying, oh no, you know what, Arman deserves it. And yes, you're right, he does deserve it. This guy's world caliber, like he's a great fighter. He definitely deserves every opportunity and chance that comes his way. He just wants the opportunity, right? And when you have world class fighters like Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev both saying, hey, this guy deserves that opportunity, well, that's showing some sportsmanship, that's showing some class. But at the same time, that's very strategic as well, too. I mean, if Arman can pull it off against Ilia, then guess what? He sits atop of the lightweight division, crowning that championship over his head before the likes of, or before the possibility of him going against either of those two guys, Islam or Charles, could be a big, big reality. But the question comes down to is what's going to sell more? What's going to bring more hype? And that's, I think, what it's all about now. I think when people like Dana and others are starting to put matches together, they're not just looking at, okay, who's going to put on a good show. They're looking at who's going to be able to create like global buzz where everybody's talking about it. Kind of like the Khamzat and DDP fight, right? So, question comes down to is, look, whenever someone is a backup for a fight, and they made weight, he always fights for the title, okay? And this is something that I'm not saying. This is something that Islam Makhachev has revealed. I don't remember a time that they didn't give them the title fight, all right? So Arman was a backup. He made weight. He proved himself. And you know what? A lot of fighters think that he should be next. And look, I mean, Arman, like most fighters, like most people, have had a problem cutting weight, okay? And sometimes cutting weight could be a very, very dangerous thing on a fighter. It could honestly, like all those months and months of training and the dieting, the sleepless nights and just trying to be committed and staying focused to your craft could just get all poured down the drain just because you're trying to cut weight and you made yourself so grossly sick. Just like what happened to Ortega in UFC Shanghai Fight Night, right? You don't want to get to the position where you're hospitalized and then you're just a wreck. You're just not you're kind of like a shell of your old self. You're not the same kind of individual, right? So, I mean, I think this is the fight that makes the most sense right now. I want to hear what you guys think, to be honest. I think, look, if it makes sense for Arman, to come out and he's got the right attitude, and look, he's a guy who just doesn't say no. I mean, this fight could get done and he could create history. And similarly, you got Charles Oliveira. He's been talking a lot about Arman and making sure that he should be able to fight Ilia Topuria as a number one contender. So, do you agree with Islam? Do you agree with Charles about that? Or do you want to see a guy like Islam take on Ilia? Or perhaps maybe a rematch, maybe Charles, or maybe even Charles and Makhachev. That'd be interesting, right? I mean, Dan Hooker wants Arman as his next opponent, right, in November. Maybe Dana just capitalizes on that. I mean, Hooker revealed that he's officially been medically cleared to return to the octagon in November, after breaking his hand. So could that actually be a segue into seeing Arman and Hooker, perhaps, maybe, for, going toe to toe. Maybe the winner out of that goes against Ilia. I don't know. I mean, there's so many different kinds of combinations that you can actually spin here. And it doesn't matter how you roll the dice. Any one of those combinations is going to be a blockbuster move, right? So again, the MMA is like, I mean, when I think about the UFC and I think about, these aren't problems. These are actually golden nuggets for them. Like, they're so lucky that they have a world-class caliber roster of fighters where they can just kind of roll the dice and pin one against another, and it's probably going to, I mean, it's going to create a lot of buzz, right? They've got some of the best fighters in the circuit, and they're all working really hard to pave the way for their careers and their futures, and that's what I'm really, really excited about, right? So, yeah, I mean, like, I look, there's been a lot of like, Hooker said a lot of crazy stuff, like, a lot of these guys talk a lot of trash, right? I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, right? But the way I'm looking at it is, if there's an opportunity to have two elite champions going face to face, for the ultimate bragging rights, pay-per-view through the roof, global media buzz, UFC MMA history in the making, I want that fight. But if this is a weight issue, and if there's going to be problems with that, I mean, chances are Islam's probably going to likely want to stick to the welterweight division and fight against, other contenders, while Topuria continues his lightweight reign. Now, fans are starting to get frustrated, right? I mean, the fans really wanted to see the possibility of Islam Makhachev, taking on Ilia Topuria potentially. But I mean, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see kind of what happens, right? So, what do you think? Is this fight worth the wait? Is it worth the risk? Should Islam focus more on the welterweight division and not worry so much about another division? I want to hear your guys' thoughts and comments. Please share them below. I'm reading some of the comments, and I'm really liking what I see. I think there's a lot of, MMA IQ that's kind of being floating around, and I think it's absolutely crazy the amount of buzz that these fights are actually spurring these days. So happy to be able to do this for you guys. Look, we're at about 25 subscribers. Please give us a like. Please give us a subscribe. Help us achieve our goals and help us get to the point where we can start doing some live streaming with you guys. We got lots of content to share with you guys. I mean, there's content dropping daily, weekly, and we want to make sure that we're right at the forefront of it, and we're able to give you all the good, juicy nuggets of what's going down in the fighting scene. So if you love the breakdown, please smash the button, hit the subscribe, and join us here on Duality 7X the next time around for more action. Have a great rest of the night.